and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am. So hello there and welcome to this video with me, and today I wish to talk about the topic of the Tantrika, the life force dancing, and what does it mean to stimulate our creations through the vortex connection in terms of Tantric dance. I've told you about my transition and life path that's going to occur through the summer, and with the summarization and crystallization of my book works, which is in the process still, but this summarization is leading me more into the tantric path of life force mastery and helping you to assess yourself as a creator being that's constantly in this flow of higher connection that comes into the life force embodiment, that is the Holy Spirit in union with all life, that is the vertical meeting the aspect that is horizontal, that is spirit merging and becoming matter. At this time, which is so intense, and we've actually initiated this cycle, and those of us, very few, who are here in the planet as creation pillars, we have created this as a new template, and this setting upon through this new, the crystalline code imprinting was set upon into 2012 timeline. And now during this time, a lot of us are experiencing this coming as in crystallization into matter. And a lot of people talk about this as the antimatter and matter meeting. So as you know, I've talked about this before in my void meaning of in creation. What is the meaning of void? How does void actually contribute to the creation process? But in today's video, I wish to go deeper to explain how the merging of these particles that are light particles occurs with the atom structure, because the atom, or atum, which is known as the first creation god, is the embodiment of our human vessels, is the full ensoulment, is the life force coming into form. And you know, even when we mention the word autumn, which is the fall, is the full blossoming of materialization of everything we've worked towards, the fire becoming the flesh and giving birth to the abundance of the physical realm, which is what we experience on the level of harvesting in terms of our fall season, which is autumn. So this means atom, which means that our atomic structure in the body is fully merged with the light particles that we're constantly downloading, we're constantly co-creating and dancing with through the dance of life. I'll explain to you how does the tantric dance fall into this, but I want to give you a little bit of the prequel why I talk about this also in terms of divine union. So in my previous videos, I've talked about this a little bit, I've touched upon the subject, and when we are not creating on the physical level, because we never start our creations on the physical level. We are creating in the antimatter or the light particle aspect in the evolutionary process first. And at those times I've explained to you, you might feel a sense of, am I connected? Am I doing this physical work? You might doubt, you might have challenges because the human self does not yet fully understand this process, but our being does. We all carry the seed of the creation principles within us. It's how we were birthed through all life and creation. So the thing with those of us who are primaries in terms of, me being the creation pillar, we're just holding this knowledge more embodied. It's not just somewhere in the back, it's really conscious in our work. And we're bringing that as the full expansion and potential in this harvesting time for those who are ready to also embody this. So I want to explain that during those times when we're more experiencing on the antimatter perspective, we're actually working on the expansion of these light particles, so that when the shift is very apparent and we will feel, wow, almost like a surge of energy of the life force that was being cultivated. That's the first process, is the cultivation, and then you release. So that's when the creative process will become more physical, tangible. You'll experience it in the physical form. And if you want to have a deeper understanding of this, I've developed the course called the Tantrika Life Force Mastery Course, which actually is the basis for all people who want to become masters of their own life force. Not just vertical masters or yogis who retreat and go somewhere in the cave, but beings who are living their life force in bringing and infusing this light realm in creation, because light is the main aspect. And whenever you put light into anything, you focalize that point. You actually intensify whatever it is. That's why a lot of people are experiencing negative manifestations as well, because their infusion and focus of that light goes also into the streams of those aspects that are more based on core patterns and beliefs. So when you intensify anything like this through the aspect of light, you will multiply it. And sometimes you'll say, why do I have so much of these negative experiences? Because you'll multiply that in a way. Okay, so when you start first this process of understanding the relationship between antimatter and matter, you will understand that creation on a bigger level, on a bigger foundation, is always being birthed through us. It just depends on how much that seed potential, the seed of life, we have activated. And this knowledge of creation principles is my second book. And I will put all the books out simultaneously because they're a trilogy, so they're kind of one book, just divided in 3 parts. It's kind of like a continuation. They don't exist separately. They're just written in 3 parts, and it's a lot of knowledge and understanding of illumination there. So when you understand that on the first level, you will know that the experience, sometimes you have these more inward cycles. That's when you're working in the antimatter perspective and you're expanding your cycle. And when the flush of this thrust of life goes out, it's almost like this divine masculine, which is divisible, the seen, the creatrix, being birthed through the seed of divine masculine, which is the physical, whereas the divine feminine is that womb. We would say, well, that's the life of all creation, but it hasn't thrusted into being. So we need both. And together they represent this point of divine creation, divine birthing. So that's the first part to understand here. The second thing, in terms of divine union, I have to explain this because people do not understand divine union on the level of creation. People talk about in terms of divine union, such as twin flames coming together, couples coming together, is in terms of physical, that it's physical. But again, divine union is the same thing. It occurs, antimatter creation, being thrusted into form, becoming matter, and conjoining as one. It's a spiritual alchemy that cannot exist as in one or the other, as separate essence. So it's not just physical. You can meet an aspect in the physical, you say that's a relationship I'm having, but if you are not a part of this divine union that goes through these cycles of coming apart, coming together, and I'll explain why this is so important, and this is how creation comes into all existence, you will not be experiencing this divine union, this illumined union. And a lot of people are saying, well, I'm having issues because I'm not feeling my beloved, or it's not a physical person in my life and I'm waiting for them. Well, then you still don't understand this. You still have not tapped into your inner master, which understands how this working between the antimatter and the matter aspect, which occurs at much greater levels we can comprehend. But our comprehension is really clear when we start to crystallize within ourselves, which means we get those false beliefs out in the human aspects that are curious, that are saying, but I don't understand this, but why is it happening like this? Why is it not going like that way for me? Why am I not meeting the person? Because you have not yet fully understood divine union in terms of illumination at this point. And you don't understand what greater cycles have to unfold for this to be an illumined union. So I'll explain to you what Spirit showed me today is why illumined union is such a vast thing, and how this relates to this creation through the tantric dance. Is because when the aspect of polarity, because when the polarity is fully merged, is unified, it creates on this level. But when this potential is fully materialized and there's nothing else there, there has to be a division again. There has to be a splitting apart, although it's never truly split. That's the thing. You say, I'm apart from my beloved, or I'm apart from this energy, which is in turn your cosmic beloved. You truly are not. It's a perception. And it's because you're experiencing this high intensity that starts to unfold when there's this seeming split. But the split is, if you imagine the DNA helix, right? The split occurs and there's joining together again, and then again splitting and joining and splitting and joining. It shows us how life is created. Because from this point of divine neutrality, or the 0 point, there is no life, or there is all life. But there are no creation cycles. So each creation cycle and the existence of life itself, and the reason why we can experience this tangible reality, occurs because there's this maximum potency that occurs through the split. And during the split, there will be the expansion to the fullest, and that's what's happening in illumined unions. If that's represented through 2 beings who have merged, and one becoming the physical representation of the feminine and one of the masculine, although the polarity is yin and yang, both carry the seeds of each within each other. They've always connected. At the root, you're connected. There's a seeming split, so these two aspects can create. Otherwise, there is no creation. You have to understand the Trinity. There cannot be a Trinity of divine creation without that split. And when people say, I'm separate from my beloved, or I'm separate, or I'm in separation, that's a perception that's not yet whole. You have split in order to expand creation so that you can come together when this thrust and its purpose is fulfilled, when the purpose is realized. And that's when the co-joining will happen again. So imagine these great beings of light who have come here on the planet, who will experience illumined union, those of us who are within divine union. We never have been apart from divine union. Even the splitting is a part of our union, because that's the creation process. And I was shown today that on each level that those master beings, so the beings of light, have experienced this, they said, wow, we need to expand the potential even further, because creation is always unfolding through this evolution of itself. So what they did before coming on Earth, they said, wow, we have to split. We have to, again, do this experiment through our polarization so that the potential of what we're creating within the light spectrum will grow. And through that, they brought great growth to the planet through their creations, and they had to become, again, sovereign individuals, although they already were, and they are on this level of the spirit union. The union is held. So there's many volunteer souls coming here, you know, being a part of the split so they can come together when this maximum potential of their expansion is reached. When you have achieved this maximum potential expansion within your body as a human being, you feel, I've exhausted my potential. I did everything I could as being alone, physically experiencing yourself as creating alone, not in partnership. But you were always a part of this partnership because at the root level you were held together. So what occurs then is you are finishing, you're graduating, and recently I've received this message that the union's counterparts, a lot of them were graduating, which means this highest expansion which we went through so we can extend this light of polarization, that doesn't mean we're polarized. We're fully unified. The androgynous nature lives within us. But we can't exist in an androgynous state in the physical and creating simultaneously on the level that we were meant to create here as beings who help to expand Gaia's next potential expansion. So we did that, and when you will feel, wow, I've expanded to the maximum, there's nothing more for me to reach. Recently I felt this feeling. It felt like I've tapped into all of the potential that I could alone, and that was the mission. The mission was not union itself, because the union for those of us who are in illumined union already is always there. It always exists. It's not our mission to fully unite, because we came here as unified divine couplings to, in a way, come here and expand. I've recently shared on Instagram that I was in one of my retreats there in Italian Alps, and as I was meditating, I received this vision how on the level of my beloved partnership in illumined union, we had to split. We came together, we traveled through the black hole and then through another black hole, and was like, what is this? And we discovered, wow, it's actually the whole of the whole Earth. Right? It's actually the hollow earth, pardon me. And we've traveled there, and in the middle of this hollow earth, we received our blueprint mission for Earth planetary evolutionary mission we held together as a coupling. But then as we traveled, it was almost like traveling through this train, you know, it was like fast train going down different lanes. We had to split at a certain level, and each going our own separate way. We didn't truly split because the heart of the beloved, the cosmic beloved, lives within us. We are already unified. A lot of people are not, and these people are seeking union, and these people are, you know, a lot of them say, well, that's my twin flame, and perhaps it's not. It's just a mirror for them that they are able to hold at that level, and it's perhaps not yet their divine counterpart at the creation core level, but they're moving in this process, while those of us who are here as volunteer souls, who are here as either cosmic masters, star seeds, there's a few light workers as well who have, you know, who are more advanced in those terms, that are a part of this, and we are doing this in a way that's already done. But when we had to go in this splitting, we've expanded the highest potential, because that's how it can occur. You couldn't be the sovereign individual, and you couldn't achieve the things in the coupling if that was there from your birth. And on each cycle, you also, on a spirit level, you grow. So while this is happening down on earth, it's also happening the above. And these two principles are one. So as above, so below, and your spirit selves are mastering this new level of how you will actually create something. And a lot of people say, well, the twin couplings are those that they separate and then they go together, and separate and come together. Well, this, again, it relates to the creation process. It's not a physical space where you leave, because you never leave. The heart of cosmic beloved is never separate, and a lot of people don't understand this. It's the cycles of creation you're helping to expand, and once you're at the level of selfless service to all life in creation, and those of us who are here as cosmic master embodiments, we had to do this because it was a part of the mission plan, and not everyone understood this mission plan. So when we started to remember, it was in our DNA. When we were ready to assimilate that and remember, it came to us, and it started to slowly, gradually out, pour itself through our conscious remembrance state. So this happens, and when it's almost like you've tapped into all the potential you came here to expand, and then you will return. And that's the true nature of divine union. It's not that you were ever separate, that you lived in separation. Some of us, I've never felt separation. It's just on a physical level, this longing, and the longing is important because the longing keeps you intact with the mission. It keeps you aligned, and longing in itself is not bad. It's when your lower self, kind of, sometimes it's not that they're separate, lower, higher self are not separate, but your lower perspective sometimes will try to put this in a box, and you can't really explain it. So this is what this process, and it's about expanding creation and creating something that has not been here before. And a lot of us are here in this assignment. So my third book is now being written by me on illumined union and the seed of life and the Tantrika perspective. So let's move on to this last part, where I want to explain how the tantric dance contributes to the creation of this union. When I say tantric dance, what does it mean? The tantric is the dancing through Holy Spirit life force, through the union with all life. So when you dance, you're not just out on a rave dancing to the music you like, you put your favorite song and you're dancing. No, it's a conscious dancing through the light. I've shared a few dancing videos with you before. The links are down below. I'm sharing it again for those of you who don't know where they are, although they're here on my channel. And I want to also share an example of what this means. It's a conscious spirit dance when you invite the life force in your body. You are literally ensouling the light. You are infusing yourself with the light. You envision the light entering your body, and then you allow this light to guide your moves, to guide every single part of you, so that you become transparent in the way you dance through the tantric essence of connection with all life, because the tantrika is a fully androgynous being. And this is the great divine paradox. At the same time, you are very feminine. A lot of men have told me throughout my life, you are so feminine. Also, I do have a very boyish side. I have a perfect inner male, and it's guiding me in my adventures, and I can do anything, even male tasks I can do, because it's not separate from me. I'm always in union. But I'm very, in terms of physicality, physical expression, I'm very feminine. And that means that at the same time, there's androgyny, and then there's the intense expression of this gender polarities, so that this creation can be at its maximum point. You have to have understanding of creation to know these things, because people who don't, they get confused very easily. So get back to the roots of this. If you want to know more, Tantrika Life Course Mastery is available, and you can teach a lot of great stuff there. It's super intense and amazing. So during the tantric dance, you stand as a light vortex. And this is one of my desires to teach in my upcoming retreats, is to teach this way of dancing and to teach tantric yoga, because not tantric yoga is something else. Tantrika yoga, which is actually, again, it's life force guiding your moves. It's life pulse mastery, directing everything you are actually creating. So it's a co-creation, constant conscious co-creation with life. And you just show up, and the moves you're doing, a lot of them is based on spiral. So the basics of my dancing, and I've explained this to you in the video, that's the link is shared down below, is that you invite the light, and then you embody the light. And again, you draw it up, push it back up, and then again within you. And then your heart is the center, and then in your pelvic area, which is where the culmination happens, you do the rotations, because they create an infinity symbol movement up and down. And the infinity symbol has to be in both ways. So it has to be two infinity symbols interlocking. And this is the male infinity symbol and the female. So feminine, masculine, pardon me. So it's this entanglement. It's the cosmic quantum entanglement you're creating, but you're bringing it into the physical aspect. And when you're moving within your vortex, your cells begin to spin. And with the spin, you create a vibrational attunement that will call forth your highest aspect of potentiality in creation for you to experience and bring into form. So it's very important. I've had periods in my life where I had to do so much work for what I wanted to bring forth to share with all of you. I had to set up a template. It was a lot of physical work. It's not just all sharing and speaking to all of you, but it's a lot of background work. So when I did that, a lot of times I forgot to dance. And I got so weird. I felt so empty inside. And every time I said, no, I need to dance because this is who I am. It's my essence, is the Tantrika giver of life. And then I have just one dance. It instantly aligns me with everything I receive. I receive all the knowledge, everything I know what I need to do because I'm aligned with my essence. Sometimes I'm trying to push myself into other things. Oh, I need to climb mountains. I need to be this sporty person. It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel the same way. I'm not nourishing the true authentic core of my being. But when I do that to the tantric dance, there's communion present in simultaneous now time. So it's the quantum meeting the aspect of our now. It's the quantum now and the physical now that are merging. And with the tantrika dance of life, you're actually helping the antimatter to merge with the matter aspect. And this is happening, this merging, conjoining process for a lot of you now. And you will feel it, you will receive messages, guidance system, all of it. The description of the tantric dance and all the links are down below, so it doesn't get too long. There's also an example of my dance here at the end. Surprise, surprise. I wanted to share something today. Sorry, it's not very professional. It's just a little short recording to show you. Just, it's for everyone. You don't have to be a master of I don't know what, but it will help your mastery. So just show up. All it needs to be done is you showing up, invite the light in, invoke the Holy Spirit presence of all life force in creation, and know that when you move it through your body, you are enlightening your physicality, you are illuminating your DNA, and you're also helping to embrace your union in the physical. Because this co-joining and the infinity symbol and a lot of kundalini energy that's being stimulated through this belly sort of tantrika dancing, it activates this so that it becomes physical. So you're drawing it in. The feminine is magnetizing the masculine archetype, and they're meeting in divine timing. So I hope you like this video. It is so crucially important. It's a part of what makes us be in the creation knowledge and awareness, and how everything in life, the secrets of the universe are no longer secrets. They're there for everyone now. And those of us who have this knowledge, we're here to share, we're here to inform you. So get educated, get the Tantrika Life course, Mastery. It's a really amazing course. It's for everyone. You don't have to be at a certain level to get it, because I have levels of mastery courses, and sometimes people ask me, can I get Tantrika before I get, I don't know, the first one? Yes, because the Tantrika is a course for everyone. I've developed it especially for this reason, so that people could educate themselves in terms of how to become enlightened in the physical form, not in your head. It's a little shift of light in your body. It's becoming ensouled. It's becoming unified, and it's inviting the magnetic and electric nature of your divine union so that it can occur in the physical sense. When the antimatter and matter aspect of your own union are ready to meet, when it's divine timing for you to have this experience in your physical life, it depends upon this creation process. When it's ready to come back in itself and implode and create anew. So at this point, you will be again joining in terms of, okay, we did the maximum outstretching. Now we're going to come together. We're going to create on this new level. That's what it's about. That's what true illumined union is about. And I'm excited to share more in the upcoming book. Please hold fists for me. It's a lot of work still, but I'm getting there. I'm there already, and it's the knowledge exists. It's just a matter of translating it into this physical form. I love you all so much. Thank you for sharing, supporting. And if you want to donate to my page, you know where to find the links or get my courses. And I wish you a beautiful time. It's amazing where we are now. The gateways are really open, and we can achieve this now. It is there, it is here, it is within our sacred hearts, and it's our cosmic beloved. So take care and so much love. Oh, by the way, the cosmic beloved course is amazing for this physical embodiment of this as well. So the links are down below. I'll talk to you soon. Love, wisdom, and power. There is something else I wanted to add it as well, and the thing is that when the masculine and feminine forces of creation are not fully balanced in a balanced way, in a harmonious way expressed through us, that means we can have a very benevolent androgynous core, and we can be a fully unified being. But in the physical, we're not yet expressing all of these in the creation potential. We're not expanding or expressing the expansion of our potential in a balanced way, which means that there will be discrepancies, the block of flow in our bodies. And recently I've read this perfect description in terms of how this will affect the body structure. It was in the Scope of Dimensions book from Viva Moose, and I've shared this book with you in one of the videos back. So in truth, it explains how our fatty tissue or even cellulite in our bodies is actually an expression of the lack of that flow. So for example, the legs, right, which represent this grounded polarity aspect, which our torso is built in such a way of divine union and through polarity, right? So what is very important for us to understand is these things we don't have as physical, you know, that they're a physical product, a byproduct of something we do, or a food. It can be as a contribution, but the essence is energetically based in terms of how we either express the nature of feminine and masculine polarity. So for me, I've discovered in my life, although internally I'm very balanced, I can do anything. I can be the feminine, masculine, I can shift roles. But in terms of how in a balanced way I express this in my life, I was more masculine in that way because I had to do so much work so that I was able to be shared with all of you. And a lot of times my divine feminine, the womb, was not expressed. So when I started to tap into Tantrika, and I then started with these dances and all these things based on the womb perspective of the divine feminine, the balance started to even out. And you will see that the lack of flow, as you know, it's like our body's like the grid system. So when there's lack of flow that is expressed through this balanced polarity, this will be shown as the lack of flow in our body, which is what the fatty tissue is. It starts to build up somewhere in our body because there's a lack of flow there. So you can have a lot of love, you can be the most beautifully loving person, but you've never had the experience where you could share so much of your love, or you can share it in another or in a partnership. So that flow in the physical term and this expression, although it's neutrally balanced within, it can have that sort of expression for you as the lack of flow. So when you start to work with yourself and the expression in the physical sense, in your experience self, in your creation self, in your physical day-to-day life, this balance. So for me, that was expressed through, I did a lot of mountain climbing and hiking and running, which was more masculine energy. And then I started adding up this yoga and dance, and it started to even out. And it was the more feminine part of my creation self. So when you start this, you will see results. Those of you who have body issues, you will know that everything starts as energy, as the expression that's not fully representing our authentic core, which is the creation core of both the masculine and feminine principles of how energy wants to flow through us and co-create in that union. So I hope this was helpful for some of you. Maybe you've been struggling with some of the issues in your body. Understand that your body is the exact replica of all of your states, all of your lower bodies at this time. So if there's any sort of lack of flow or an expression you don't like, it's showing you that there's an aspect you're not tending to. So when I started noticing things that I didn't like in my body, was not that I would not have love for my body, but I said, this does not feel fully aligned with how my true body feels like. You have to feel your highest potential form. And when you see this current form does not yet express my highest potential form, doesn't mean I don't love it, I accept it, I embrace it, but I'm not passive in it. So you start to create more flow, and you do that through infusing with light. Also physical, of course, we're also physical beings. I love to do a lot of exercising and just being in flow. If I get stagnant or passive, the energy is not expressed because I have so much love. That means so much creativity. And if I get passive, if I don't know where to put it, you know, if I don't know where to infuse it with, it starts to kind of be withheld within my body, and withholding it means lack of flow. So notice this, observe this in your body, find a connection with your body, bring the light. I was just reading this in Sanat Kumara's book on the light techniques. Is basically how to illuminate yourself with the technology of light, which is free. It's all you have to do is use your imagination and creative imaging in your processing. And there's a lot of beautiful exercises. There's also light activations on my own page, Serapina Light, which can help you. And I have a new DNA activation for an illumined human as well, which helps you to get to the core of your luminary mastery. So that's it. Let's see the dance now, okay? Tantrika Union. Union life force bliss Tantrika. I create particles of light, illuminate every atom, every cell, I am light. I live love, force of union, creation. I dance with life, Tantrika. Beloved Oh, and I have one more amazing news for you guys. So recently I have created a photo gallery of my beautiful images because you know photography is such a huge passion of mine, and I think it's a beautiful way of translating the life force and the beauty of all life in creation into physical matter and have awe and inspiration. So you can find these pictures on my Facebook page, Pulinaria Dawn, which I recently developed, so go find me there, or it's on my gallery section of the page Filipina Light. So there's different galleries to explore, as in different essences of myself, which are, for example, Creation Pillar, Tantrika, Yogini, Life Force Master, Angelic Queen, Elven White Lady, and so on and so forth. So go find me there and see how I tap into my own nature goddess so that I can help to inspire you, that you get to live those essences yourself, because we're here to bring this heavenly divinity into earth, into matter. So yeah, have fun exploring my galleries, and I hope to see you there.